Welcome to Lead Wisely by Wonder Tour. In today's episode, we are having part two of our discussion of the movie Ford versus Ferrari. So let's start with a tough question about leadership, as usual. Drew, if you're on a team or an organization that is trying to make a transformation or do something innovative, do you need a radical innovator on the team?
Yeah, that's good, Brian. This is a question that I get a lot working in transformation. What do you do if you don't have an innovator? Do I need somebody who's a radical out working on the edges? In this example, like a Carol and a Ken Miles type who is constantly like shoving at the edges of the boundaries, like we have to go forward. And I think the answer is that if you're hoping to achieve transformation, yes, you will need some type of person like that. It will be very, very hard to go from current state number one, where we have a model and everything has governance and processes and all this stuff to upkeep it and sustain it, to a new model where we will take some of the things that we like from the old system that are going to still work, but they're going to be arranged in a different way, and there's going to be different higher, priorities might change in the new world and stuff like that. It just is really hard to break out of an existing system that is meant to hold itself together. It is designed to be robust, and you need somebody who's going to help deconstruct it and reconstruct it into what the future state is going to be. So to start off with, and this might be tough for some people to accept, I do think, yes, you probably need a radical innovator. Now, the real question then becomes, how do you get a radical innovator if you don't have one? Because I have a transformation. That's my goal. That's what I want to do with my business. But I don't currently feel like I have one of those radical innovators inside of my organization.
Right. Well, and so I will suggest that I totally agree with you. Like you're going to need somebody that is passionate about change, that is passionate about whatever the new thing is that you're pursuing. You're going to need somebody that's completely on board with that to really thrive. Chances are, depends on how big your team is, but there's a good chance that you have somebody that might be suitable for that role on your team and you just don't know it. Right? How would you identify them? How do you find out if you have a radical innovator on your team or if you have a challenge in mind? Maybe you're not as open minded as Henry Ford and you're not like, give me any idea. Maybe you've already decided on the challenge. We're going to do a Gen AI project. We're going to go investigate, we're going to stand up a business dashboard. I don't know, whatever thing is that you want. We're going to investigate a whole new line of business. We have a new kind of product that we want to make. How would you go about sensing whether or not you've got somebody that is suitable for that job?
So there's a couple techniques that I generally use to do that. The first, if we're talking about just sensing someone, obviously you look for the challenger archetype. You're looking for somebody who is pushing back against things in a productive way. Honestly, you might have to settle for somebody like Ken Miles, who's pushing back against things in a slightly less productive or sometimes unproductive way. And you
Right.
might have to have some kind of a liaison, a magnanimous leader who can help facilitate the discussions with that person. But you're looking for somebody who is like the Han Solo archetype, right? That's always pushing the boundaries and challenging, like, why can't we do things differently? That person, the person who's complaining the loudest, but actually doing something about it, is the key. You don't want just the person who complains the loudest. That's the person that isn't going to help you. But the person who's complaining and then is over here like using duct tape and cardboard and whatever they can find to try to make a solution for this, those are the type of people that it's scary to give them more influence in the organization and more power for a lot of people, especially when you're used to a certain way and things have always been this way and everything adheres to a process and a standard. But this person doesn't necessarily operate that way because they know that really, like, the number one rule of business is know when to go outside of the current rules and policies.
Right. And so I think this is a really important point, right? Is that you're looking for people that are at least a couple of steps down this road already. They already see, if we talk about our model for limit breaks that we developed in some of our previous episodes, right? This idea of you have to start with I'm dissatisfied with the current state and I've got a new mission. And you have to go through the like I've got some realization of how to take those steps and aligning that with the organization before you can get to the breakthrough parts. Look for people that are some ways partway down that process already, that are already dissatisfied, that are already trying to get aligned, that are already trying to realize like what it's going to take to succeed. People that are passionate about it, or people that are do it for a hobby, or people that are in this movie, right? People that are associated with your organization, but maybe not part of it, but look like really good candidates, right? So Ford Motor Company is looking for somebody to run a race team. They're like, well, we don't really have a in-house Le Mans winning race team, but we have this guy Carroll Shelby who's got a small business that buys engines from us and has previously won Le Mans. So like, all right, great. He's partway down the road in a couple different ways. He's already associated with Ford and he's already good at the thing that we want. So let's talk to him. You talk to him, and Carroll Shelby says, "Oh yeah, sure, that'd be great, but I can't drive the car anymore, and I'm not in this, I'm not at this level anymore. But I know a person that I used to work with named Ken Miles, and he is an incredible mechanic at making cars better, and he's really, really fast driver who's 100% committed to winning races. Like those are things we need. He's a couple steps down the path. So look for those people in your orbit who are potential innovators, who are maybe already just kind of doing it for fun or already just kind of can't help themselves, that are trying to take those steps, and see if there's a way to empower them to take those steps with more resources as part of the organization, as part of a bigger team. I think that's definitely a potential, right? If you don't have the person that's just like walked into your office and said, we should go win Le Mans and I have experience and I personally will do it for you and this is exactly the plan and here's what you need, sign on the line. It's very unlikely that you're going to get that in your business innovation challenge.
Yeah, and I would add that, okay, let's say you've done that and you can't figure it out. You're like, well, I don't know if I have it. I can't get through to middle management or whoever is there to actually find the person that I need who's this challenger. Then even the first step in the journey is to just do something basically that tries to draw those type of people out into the organization, retain them in the organization, which is like leading with a vision and empowering the team. So like the next best thing you can do if you can't find that person is to try to create an organization that feels empowered, where people feel that it's okay to bring new ideas to Henry Ford and say, "Hey, we should try this. We should go build this racing team. Hey, yeah, I'll in Carol's situation, I'll do it for you, but I'm not doing it your way." That's the type of thing you want to hear out of these type of people, because they already know you don't know the answer to this, and they necessarily don't know exactly the answer, but they're willing to iterate their way through to a solution, and they're going to start to believe in you if you are iterating along with them and you're starting to say, okay, well, we don't need 100% of a plan of how to win Le Mans today, but let's at least start investing into Shelby and the racing team and get something started. Let's at least start investing into some new business plan projects or whatever that are going to try to do this transformation. Even if we fail, we'll at least learn something, and perhaps we'll draw out the types of people that are going to actually be able to succeed.